Now, amidst a sharp rise in illegal border crossings over the past few months, the Biden administration is reviewing cases of nearly about 5,600 migrant children to see whether they were separated from their parents at the border under the Trump administration. Now, the effort is expected to uncover a small number of additional separations on top of the thousands that have already been identified through an ongoing litigation. The Department of Homeland Security has said that the aim is to reunite any families who still remain torn apart. This development has come after President Biden issued an executive order in the month of February to create a task force to reunite children and parents who have been separated by Trump's zero-tolerance border policy. Now, under Trump's policy, thousands of children were separated from their parents at the southwestern U.S. border. Parents were charged with federal immigration offenses and then were sent to jails, while children were labeled as unaccompanied and therefore were placed in these shelters. Meanwhile, a Rio Grande City border patrol has found a 10-year-old boy who was walking alone on a road. The child, who originally was from Nicaragua, was distraught and crying. He said that he'd been left behind by the group of migrants that he was traveling with. The boy was transported to a border patrol facility where he was fed and medically screened.
¿Vienes con tu mamá o tu papá?
Nadie. Yo venía en un grupo.
¿Ah?
¿Me puede ayudar?
¿Qué pasó?
Es que yo venía con un grupo de personas y me dejaron botar y no sé dónde están.
No sé dónde están. ¿Te dejaron solo?
Pues claro, me dejaron botar.
¿Te dejaron solo botado?
Solo.
¿No vienes con mami o con papi o con nadie?
¿Ah?
¿Vienes con tu mamá o tu papá?
Nadie. Yo venía en un grupo que venía de entrega con usted y al final me dejaron botado y venía aquí a pedir auxilio.
¿Te dejaron botado y te dijeron que vinieras a pedir auxilio?
No, yo vengo porque si no, ¿por dónde me voy a ir? Allí voy a dejar y tal vez me pueden robar, secuestrar o algo.
¿Te pueden robar?
Tengo miedo.
¿Tienes miedo? Ok.
Sí.
Ahorita hablamos, ¿ok?
Now, the United States has witnessed a steady increase in immigration from the three Northern Triangle nations of Guatemala, Honduras and El Salvador. The American authorities have said that they have so far caught nearly about 171,000 migrants along the U.S.-Mexico border in the month of March, and this is the highest monthly total in nearly over 2 decades, and it is also the latest sign of the mounting humanitarian challenge that confronts the Biden administration. All right, now to give us more insights in terms of how the American policy has changed under Joe Biden while dealing with these immigrants who are trying to cross over the border into the United States, we're joined in by Kate Fisher, who's joining us live from Washington, D.C. Kate, we just saw as to how this entire episode of these unaccompanied children are being dealt with at the U.S. border. How is the Biden administration dealing with them differently?
Yeah, he's taken a very different stance to this situation, and he has talked about this in some of his speeches about how he found the policy of the Trump administration abhorrent and that he would never be associated with the idea of separating children from their parents. So at the moment at the border, this is not happening. Children and parents are not being separated. Families are being dealt with as a whole or being turned away as a whole. The difference is, the problem is, though, of course, is that Joe Biden's administration has to deal with what has been left to them from the Trump administration, which are these thousands of children who have been separated from their families, many of whom are still not reunited with their parents. And court filings just filed today show that there are still 445 children who were separated at the border during the Trump administration that have still to be reached. Lawyers working on these cases still haven't managed to find them. They're still somewhere missing in the system, and the Biden administration says that as it is trying to track these children down, Joe Biden set up a task force in February specifically for this, that they're finding difficulties in finding the information because it has not been noted down carefully in many cases. There's misinformation, there's missing names, and mistakes have been made. So this is still a really big problem, started in the Trump administration, that the Biden administration says it is trying to rectify, and it's also saying that it will not be separating children from their parents.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.